So at this point, many of you know a few months back I uploaded a small documentary type video called The History of Plants vs Zombies, which is a video where I discussed the evolution of the Plants vs Zombies franchise, from its origins to the present day. Although that video has, well, some issues, it got a lot of views, and expanded my audience by so much, which I really can't thank you all enough to this day. And as for myself, I'm a big fan of the Plants vs Zombies franchise, and have been for years. Since making that video though, quite a bit has occurred within the franchise, with popcap announcing that Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville, which is the point of making this video is around a year old, is going to no longer receive content updates, with them also announcing that they've pulled Plants vs Zombies 3 from its soft launch, to reimagine the game after fans' feedback, which I think is a good thing, as well, Plants vs Zombies 3 isn't the greatest. And EA as well as popcap haven't really given much confirmation to what we can expect for the future of the franchise after these events, which of course, generated a lot of confusion within the fanbase. So in today's video, from a lot of requests from you guys, I'm going to cover the future of Plants vs Zombies. Also, if you enjoy the content I make sure to subscribe, as many of you who watch my videos aren't actually subscribed. It helps me out a lot, and you can always unsubscribe if you wish. Anyway, on with the video. First off, the Plants vs Zombies franchise, unlike many other video game franchises, has never really been in a rock bottom position. It's always been extremely popular, and it's still backed by its developers. Although recently the franchise hasn't really been giving off the best reputation, which I'll get into now. So don't think that the franchise is ending or no new games are going to be released, because that's certainly not the case. I think Plants vs Zombies will be around for years or even decades to come. So all of this started back in September 2019, when popcap released Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville, which of course is the third Plants vs Zombies third-person shooter, after Garden Warfare 2. Although, I wouldn't really call it a Garden Warfare 3, as it's quite different compared to those titles. The game though wasn't bad, it was just pretty mediocre and fans didn't really like it too much. As for myself, I think the game was pretty decent, although nowhere near as good as Garden Warfare 2. And earlier that year, EA began the soft launch of the new Plants vs Zombies game in the original series, known as Plants vs Zombies 3. And like Battle for Neighborville, from what we've seen so far of the upcoming title, it's not terrible, but definitely not as good as the previous two Plants vs Zombies games. It was also received quite poorly as well from people who participated in the first soft launch, with fans criticising the new 3D designs of the traditional Plants vs Zombies characters, with most people preferring the original 2D designs, as well as many questionable gameplay changes once the game soft launched in February 2020. So by even late 2019, many fans were starting to ask questions to whether future titles in the series will be mediocre like Battle for Neighborville and the inbound PvZ3. Rolling into 2020, popcap continued to roll out the soft launch of PvZ3 and update Battle for Neighborville with new content. EA's handling of the franchise from my perspective wasn't really the greatest, with it not being mentioned too much throughout 2020, aside from a few update announcements. But then again, nothing really much major was going on for them to say anything, so I can't really criticise EA too much for that. Anyway, things remained quiet throughout most of 2020, although in early September, things took a turn for the worst. popcap and EA revealed in a blog post that Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville would no longer receive future feature updates, which I'll read to you now. As the leaves start to change, September's Fall Festival will be our last festival, and our final game and gameplay update will be at the end of the month. But as we all know, the battle for brains never really ends. With this in mind, each month we'll be bringing back our previous festival complete with prize map. Every festival prize map that you weren't able to complete will have your progress saved, so you can continue right where you left off in that month. This left fans pretty confused as well. The game was just around a year old at this point. Some fans though were pleased by this news, as it could have hinted that popcap wanted to work on a new game or start working on a previous game again like Garden Warfare 2, although the second one in my opinion is very unlikely. But we did see it happen in the past. Following this announcement, things continued to remain quiet until October 14th, where popcap revealed at the Backlash following pvz3's soft launch that they were pulling the game from stores temporarily to apply major changes after feedback from fans, which they revealed in this blog post. We have had an amazing journey with you so far, and hope you have gotten many hours of enjoyment out of this soft launch of Plants vs Zombies 3. We've gotten a lot of great feedback from you all during this test, and now it's time to pull the game back to incorporate your thoughts and reimagine a few things. popcap executive Bruce McLean further confirmed that popcap Seattle is not closing, and the studio will continue to support Plants vs Zombies 2 in the meantime with new content. I think this was pretty good news for the majority of people, and could hopefully make PvZ3 a much better game than it was before. Aside from that, not really much has happened game-wise, apart from the toy license being given to Tomy, which could suggest that PopCap are preparing merch for an upcoming game, although I doubt that at the moment from what we've seen recently. Now from what's happened this year, many of you are probably wondering what's in store for the future of the franchise, and if anything else will happen. From the news, I'm going to try and interpret exactly what happened, and whether it's good or bad for the majority of you. It's mostly promising news, and I don't really think the future of the franchise will be bad at all, hopefully. So first off, like I previously mentioned, Battlefield Neighborville will no longer receive future major updates like new maps and game modes. Now the game will still be supported like Garden Warfare 1 and 2, although with a lack of future updates. The player base will also slowly start to decrease over the next few months. I can possibly see it being ported to other devices in the future, but from this news, the chances of that happening have decreased massively. Moving on, nothing major will happen with the game, and to be honest, I think PopCap did this for a good reason. Battlefield Neighborville wasn't really the best received game from most people's perspectives, with it generating a lot of confusion with fans due to it being so similar with the previous Garden Warfare titles, but so different at the same time. And from the news, it hasn't really lived up to PopCap's expectations. So I think PopCap most likely decided to stop focusing as much on this title, and instead work on a new title to satisfy all fans, and apply feedback from Battlefield Neighborville, although it most likely won't be a Garden Warfare 3. This possible new shooter, or totally new game, hopefully, will be a great game and will live up to everyone's expectations. Then again, I could be completely wrong. Well, hopefully this is some promising news for a future game. The recent pandemic could have also impacted PopCap's decision to stop releasing major updates to Battlefield Neighborville. The next major event to occur this year is PopCap pulling Plants vs Zombies 3 from its soft launch. Unlike the previous event, this piece of news is a lot clearer. pvz3 when it first released wasn't really received well by fans, mainly due to it having many questionable gameplay changes, as well as controversial 3D redesigns of the traditional 2D characters. PopCap's decision to do this, which was mentioned in the previous statement, was certainly could impact some much needed features and changes after the backlash and feedback from the previous soft launch. Now, this is definitely for the majority of people some good news, and hopefully the next time we see the game, it's a lot better than what we saw before, and will live up to the previous Plants vs Zombies 2. Anyway, that's all I have to say regarding the future of Plants vs Zombies. Hopefully this video managed to answer some of your questions and provide some more clarity on the franchise's future. I hope next year we see a new game announced, or possibly some other announcement. I also hope Plants vs Zombies 3, like I mentioned before, will come back as an even better game than it did previously, as I'd certainly love to see that. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, as it really does help a lot. Be sure to check out my Twitter, Instagram, and Discord server too. Links to all are in the description. What's your opinions on the future of Plants vs Zombies? Be sure to let me know in the comments. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.